Hi again. In this video, I'm going to show you how to use the Type tool in Photoshop. So I have my poster design open and I need to add some text. I'm creating a logo for Cinderella. I have production information that I need to put on here. You want to make sure that over here on your toolbox that your text tool or your Type tool is selected, and it is there are options for horizontal typing or vertical typing. There's also a mask for each as well. For this being a beginning text usage, you'll just need to worry about the top two options of a horizontal or vertical type tool. If I'm going to be typing horizontally, I select that and I basically click and drag a text box into my design. That has now created a text or type layer. That's what this T means over here, and it says layer 2. As I type in words, if I type in Cinderella, I can press the enter key or my checkbox up here. You can see that my typed layer now gives me the actual word that it was in there, so it helps keep track of which layer is which. You can move text layers just like any other layer by selecting your move tool and dragging it and moving it around. I'm going to go back to selecting my type tool so that I can look at fonts. In order to change a font or typeface, you need to highlight the word or words and use the drop-down box up here to choose your various choices. You can see an example of each next to it. Some typefaces are going to be much larger, need more space. As you can see, this has kind of broken my word into two different parts, so I can move my text box and give it a little bit more space to show up if needed, and I can move that onto my actual poster space. Okay, go back to my type tool. I get really caught up in playing with text because I think they're so beautiful. That's kind of, I guess, the artsy person in me. So try not to get too caught up in this and try to think about what type of style text you wanted to use in the first place before you just play around with everything that's here. Alright, let me make sure that's still highlighted. I want to show you some other options here. You can change the type size. This gives you options from 6 up to 72. 72 for me in this case was too small, so I can go up here and I can manually type in how large I want it to be, and it seems like 100 was pretty good for this typeface. I don't necessarily think this typeface looks good with this design, but it's kind of funky looking, so we're going to go with it. You can also adjust its alignment, left, center, right. Probably the biggest, most important thing for a lot of you is color. Right here, this rectangle that is now white because my text is white, you can double click here and you have a color picker. You can select colors in any range of value of any color. This is my red range. If I wanted to use a blue, I would select from the color scale over here, and then I could select what value of blue I wanted. If I want purple, then I can go into my purples and select something that might work. Now, I want to show you how to use an actual color from your design. So I'm going to cancel this out. I can use my eyedropper tool here. And I can select, let's say I want to use the same purple that I've used in my background. I can click and select that color. You'll see that that color is now over here in our color box. I'm going to select my type tool again. I'm going to go into my text and there you have it. You double click on your color. It has now shown you color picker. Okay. Okay, there's the color of my text that matches the color of my background, which makes sense visually to connect those two. The other thing that you might want to know, this is a little more advanced, but some of you will be very curious about this, is how to warp the text, or how to bend it, or create an arch with it, or have it wrap around something. So up here in the options bar is a create warp text. When you click on this, it gives you various styles to choose from as kind of a starting point. An arc will create an arc and you can then adjust how extreme. So it's not extreme at all. Or you can go the opposite way with the bend. Or there can be a slight distortion to the left horizontally or to the right horizontally. You can also adjust vertical distortion. If it's, you know, if you want it to look like it's tipping towards you or tipping away from you. So this is definitely a tool, an option of the tool to play with. It's really fun. But again, have an idea of what you want visually too. Or else you could do this all day. At least I could. Flag. Vertical flag. That's funny. Horizontal flag. So this is how you manipulate your text to do various things than what you might have never thought of before. Okay. All right. So okay. Now, let's see, after I've warped it and changed the direction of it, I can also manipulate the size of it. The tool I had taught you before about free transform, if I have this layer highlighted, I can do a Control T, and it will give me a box that can be moved and adjusted. Remember to hold down your Shift key and pull a corner, and it will kind of shrink it down so you can make it fit as well. And then you can even rotate this. If you hold your cursor just outside of a corner, it'll give you that two arrows that kind of curve, and you click and you rotate. So that's another way. I don't know, that's kind of fun that you can adjust your text. Now if I'm going to add another text layer, I go back to my type tool, create another box, and say NDA presents. Okay, and here we have a problem because my layer of NDA presents, the colors are not showing up. I have purple on purple, so that is not working. There is a way that you can create a bit of depth or distance from the text to the background. Notice now I have two typed layers. I have two text layers, so I want to make sure that my NDA presents layer is highlighted, so I'm working on that layer. I don't want Cinderella. She's good. I like the way it is. Okay, so I'm going to select my my NDA presents layer. Then if I double click not on NDA presents, but here on the type or text layer. Wait a minute. There we go. Sorry. I was incorrect. Not on this. Not on this. This will change your name or the name of the layer. Just anywhere on this highlighted area. If you double click, it will bring up a layer style box, which allows you to do a whole slew of things. Okay, and you can play with this all you want. I'm going to show you how to do a drop shadow, as it's maybe is a familiar term for some of you, but see right away it gave the letters a shadow against the dark. You can double click on whatever style you want to work with, and you can make that drop shadow larger or smaller or more diffused. to give it its distance from what's behind it. You can change even the color of the drop shadow by using a color picker. You can change the opacity of it. There's a variety of things that you can do with this. I'll go back and change it to black because I like it better. Then, okay, it now shows you that on this text layer you've created effects of a drop shadow. So you kind of have an idea of what you've done with it. And then again, you can go in and kind of move and transform the layers. So text sounds really simple as far as adding text, but once you get into it, there are so many options as to what you could do. It can easily become very time consuming. So play and enjoy and have fun, but do remember how easily it is to get caught up in it. And so that is the basics of the type and text tool for Photoshop.